Good way to start the day, being scolded by crows. It's Monday. It is gorgeous. It is January. We are going to the magic place that gives us things in exchange for money. And as always, I'm dragging you along with me. Get out of the house. Go touch some grass. And we're being scolded by crows for some reason. It's just far more interesting than anything I have to say. Anyways, as we have been doing lately on our little walks, it's time to take a look at another clickbait title from a fellow dungeon tuber addressing the latest news or lack thereof in the usual clickbait doom and gloom method. And today's doom and gloom method has to do with the new hires and sideways promotions at Wizards of the Coast, because our caption for the day is, "Did Wizards of the Coast learn its lesson in 2025? Will anything be different in 2026? I don't know. Did Wizards of the Coast learn its lesson? Let's see. They ended the year making money. Supposedly their sales are off the chart. This guy doesn't understand what I'm doing. And we begin the new year with two new hires, both of whom call themselves they, both of whom have some questionable posts and actions in their past, and two sideways promotions, two people who worked at one part of Wizards getting moved to a different part of Wizards, also associated with the very unusual past of Wizards. Somebody says, "Give me some money." Oh, magic place that gives you money? No, it's the magic place that gives you stuff in exchange for money. The magic place that gives me money is called my job. Oh, hey, Bob. We have James, who is a new hire. Now, I have told that James has at least a semi-respectable role-playing resume and is at least aware of other games, and has been playing and involved in the hobby for a bit longer than at least 4 years, and has a podcast where he talks about gaming in general. So that's a plus. He's now, I don't know what his phony baloney title is, something Dungeons and Dragons, something role-playing, I don't know. But other than that, he also has some very questionable posts that he's made in the past. D just did a video about that, so there's no need for me to go over what D already talked about. Plus, that's not really what I do on my channel, but we will say that he is online, on brand with Wizards of the Coast current political nonsense. So if you're familiar with the political stances Wizards has made over the past 5 years, then you're probably familiar with the comments that this guy's generally made. So this could be said that the James's acquisition is because of as much as his politics as it is because of his knowledge or lack thereof of D&D. He's definitely 5e adjacent because he's made a bunch of stuff on Drive-Thru and D&D Beyond. So he's already aware and familiar with that product line, and they're familiar with him. He does refer to himself as a they or a them. Can you call yourself it? Is it a pronoun? If it's a pronoun, I want that to be my pronoun. And I gotta say, I have no trouble what you want to call yourself in private life. If you want to call yourself him, her, they, them, whatever, your pronoun. I'd rather call you by your name, and I don't think you should get upset if people forget what your pronoun is. But your pronoun or whatever should have nothing to do with your ability to do your job as a game designer. So all I'm concerned about is James's ability to do his phony baloney job as head D&D, whatever he is. Now the other one, another they, who frighteningly looks exactly like James. Brilliant is their nom de plume. They also have had some dipping of the toes in the 5e waters. They're familiar with the brand. The brand's familiar with them, and they obviously share the same political stance that Wizards shares. I don't think somebody like me, or like Double D, or even somebody, you know, in between the political spectrum of myself and Double D is going to get hired by Wizards anytime soon, because I think it's safe to say that Wizards has not learned their lesson, nor do they have to learn their lesson. Oh, more crows scolding us. Have we ever done this run? No, I don't think we've ever gone down this one. Let's go down this one today. It may or may not take us where we need to go. But it's not like the store's going anywhere, right? See some new things today. So, 2 new hires. Then we have the 2 sideways promotions. One was the video game guy that was working on Envoy, or whatever it was called, the Wizards of the Coast version of the Expanse. And that's apparently dumb. And he has handed off the reins to somebody else to get sideways promoted from video game department to role-playing game department, where he has another phony baloney sideways promotion title. If you're not familiar with a sideways promotion, Dark Winter says, I'd release the Bastion part of 5.5 as a separate supplement. Yep. Then open up an attempt to rebuild trust with Greyhawk 5e. Doubtful. Starting with reliving Greyhawk from 3e. Again, doubt it would happen, but you never know. That would spiral into the next topic that we're talking about with the Wizards of the Coast learn lesson. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my shoeless friends. How are you? They're not wearing shoes. And then we have another sideways promotion. I don't remember this guy's name, but he was doing something at Wizards, and then they got moved to someplace else. It's all men. No women have received promotions. At least 3 of the 4 refer to themselves as a them or they. Them being a plural, but okay. All of them, you know, I mean, they're sideways promotions. They're a title, but you don't make any more money, and you just have more responsibilities, and more things will be blamed on you when they go wrong. So to replace our previous favorite stalking horse scapegoat, Kyle Brink, we've got 4 new people that Wizards of the Coast can blame things on should things go wrong. Right? Plus, Mackenzie's still there, God help us, though she's kept her head underwater. Oh, fairy garden. Well, I hope they're floating around me because I'm kind, because I talk to them and feed them all the time, so. What a lovely little street. All the streets around where I live are very lovely. It's one of the few things I like about Site B when the sun's out, is my neighborhood is nice. No one cares. So I don't think, if the question of the clickbait of the day is, did Wizards of the Coast learn its lesson based upon the successes or lack thereof in 2025? And God help us if they didn't. Oh no, flames and brimstone and torches and angry peasants and I don't know what else. Oh, if their lesson was, hey, in 2020 we told you exactly what we were going to do over the next 10 years. And twice a year since 2020, we have told you exactly what we're going to do going into the next 10 years. On a regular basis, the OGGM reminds you that in 2020, we told you exactly what we're going to do over the next 10 years. We continue to do exactly what we said we were going to do in 2020 over the next 10 years. Nothing has changed. Sure, we've got caught a few times with our hands in the cookie jar, but for the most part, we are operating on the path that we said we were going to operate on. And whether you like it or not, the path has been relatively successful. They end every year making money. Sure, most of that money comes from, oh, somebody's giving away a whole bunch of binders. Ooh, if you're a DM, you love these things. Look at these binders. So many binders. I used to have quite a lot of binders. So no, I guess they did learn their lesson, because their lesson was, we know if we do what we said we were going to do pretty much every year, we still end up making money. And we still end up being talked about. We're still relevant. We're still selling. People are still playing. We haven't lost our edge. Even with the debacle of 2023, they still ended up making money. So if that's the lesson they needed to learn, then yes, they learned it. Now, if the lesson was you need to change because you've lost your fan base and pissed everybody off, well, then no, they haven't learned their lesson, because obviously they're hiring people based upon their political affiliation and not their ability to do a decent job, right? Do you think these new people would have gotten hired if they didn't post that they were they, thems, and didn't have a murky political output past on the interweb? Trust me, your secrets are not safe. I see a kitty. Let's go say hi. Oh, I know where we are. It's the back of the bar. We've been here before. So, if you're betting your horse on the flaming death of Wizards of the Coast learning their lesson and suddenly changing, that's not going to happen. And even if they did, as I've asked before, would you want them to? Would you forgive them? If Wizards of the Coast, continued the dysfunctional relationship and then came up to you and said, I'm sorry I was so abusive to you. Please forgive me. Take me back. Would you? Or would you be like, hit the road, Jack. I found a new friend, and it's called Shadowdark and the OGGM. I wouldn't. I don't care what Wizards of the Coast does next. There's no way I'm going back. They've insulted me and the people I respect too many times. They've said they don't want me playing their game. White people can't leave the hobby fast enough, right? So what does that have to do with Wizards learning its lesson, the future of Greyhawk, and the legendary 6th edition, which is or is not going to happen? Now, we went into this briefly the last time we talked, but I'll go into it again. Are they working on 6th edition? Of course they are. They've probably been working on a 6th edition since 5th edition went to shelf in 2014. Hypothetically saying, oh, well, they're done. No, because they said they were done with 3.5. They said they were done with a Diablo role-playing game. Remember that one? They said they were done with 4. They said they were done with 5. They said they were done with 5.5. They're not done. I assure you they are play testing the next big thing. That's just standard operating procedure. Do you think when Ford sells a car, they're like, well, that's it, we're done. We don't ever have to make any more cars. What do you mean technology is advanced? Fuck that, we're happy with what we have. Now, of course they're working on a 6th edition. Will that come out for the 50th anniversary of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons? Maybe. It would make sense to at least do a limited edition thing. But as for, a new version of the game that supersedes 5.5, well, let us not forget that in 2020, they put up on the calendar, June 2027, Dungeons and Dragons 6X. And that's still on the calendar. So, will we see a return to Greyhawk the way it should be with Living Greyhawk? I doubt it. But then I doubted they were going to do Dark Sun, and look at that, they're doing Dark Sun. So it's hard to question what they will and will do. So yeah, They are working on a 6th. Will we ever see that? I don't know. Will there be a 50th anniversary celebration for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons? Like people claim that that's what they're working on? Maybe. I mean, it's instant money. I don't see why they wouldn't do it. But really, if you want to get the AD&D stuff without it going through the Wizards of the Coast political correctness, it's online. You can get the POD for like $22. You can use my link down below to get the POD for $22. So yeah. So no, Wizards of the Coast did not learn the lesson you want them to learn because they're not going to change. There's no reason for them to change. And despite the many of us complaining in the great big hill of beans that is the world, we don't count. We are a small population of the D&D perceived audience. Our few hundred compared to the millions, Wizards doesn't care if we don't play D&D anymore.
Wait.
They're not trying to appeal to gamers anymore. D&D is a brand. They've said so. Anyways, we are where we're supposed to be. So, will we see a 50th anniversary AD&D release? Maybe. It'll probably be very expensive and very bastardized, and you can get the exact same thing still on drive-thru for $22, so why bother? Is D&D 6 being worked on? Of course it is. That's like saying, oh, are they working on a new iPhone? Of course they are. Will we see a D&D 6X in 2027 in June like they have said they are since 2020? I would assume they're planning something because it's still on the calendar. But that's not clickbaity enough. You gotta clickbait to get the attention. So did Wizards of the Coast learn their lesson? Ooh-wee-oo. Till next time, see ya.